Hey up, Rock God 2004 back with another video for you, and this one has been a long time coming. I was umming and ahhing about this. Do I wait like I find everything that I've got put away because I've got all sorts of shit relating to this, and I thought no, I'm just going to do the film and the soundtrack like I do the others. So I am going to go through, if I haven't forgot anything, every single version of this and all its sequels that I own. And of course I am talking about the greatest film ever made, Jaws. There's a lot of people don't agree with me, which is, I don't mind that at all, just as long as you all admit that you are wrong. But this has been my favourite film since I very first seen it. I think I saw it in 1980, I was 12. And it was a double bill with Jaws 2. And I went with my friend from school. Remember his name, Stephen Henry. Always said we keep in touch. Left school, never ever meet each other again. I'm gutted because I absolutely loved him to bits. Anyway, that's by the by. Went in, the opening scene with Chrissy in the water. I absolutely crapped myself, and I thought, Jesus Christ, what have I done? Terrified me. But then it's been my favourite film ever since. This was before video started to get really popular, so to get Jaws and Jaws 2 together, it was 4 hours of absolute sheer shit your pants-ish terror, and I loved it. Terrified, but I loved it. So I've got a feeling this one's going to be a bit of a long one, so let's get started. And I'm going to start with VHS. The original VHS came out, I don't know whether it was about 79, possibly 80. Could have been a bit earlier, but it was when it was on CIC video, and it was when they used to release the covers in just these cardboard cartons. And you could only get it at the time to rent, because if you bought it, you were looking at like sort of 50 to 100 quid, which in the 70s and 80s nobody had for a film. So I'm lucky enough to have the original UK VHS. A lot of video shops did this. Unfortunately, this one's the same. The carton's there except for one side, and they put it in a plastic case for the rental shop. But this is the original first release of Jaws on VHS in the UK. So it didn't used to be originally in this. I haven't seen one with a full case. Every one I've seen's been like this. So you get that on that side, and if it was all one piece, you'd get it there as well. And that's the back of the cover. Notice as well, the image is the wrong way around on these. And it's the same with the first sequel. And the tape, good lord. Pre-certificate, this is when it was an A. So that's the original UK VHS of Jaws. Together I got it with Jaws 2, which is the same. Original carton, image the wrong way around, and cut to fit in a plastic box. These are rare, very rare. They are even more so if you can get it with the full carton. Oh, I'd love one. Never seen one, but what a thing to have. Same again. And there's the back. I've noticed now on all releases lately, and also on anything, whether it be posters, t-shirts or anything, they never use that proper old style number 2, and I tell you what, it gets on my nerves, because the one they use now looks awful. That's the original Jaws 2 logo. And same again, pre-cert label, no certificate on running time, which is slightly shorter than the original Jaws. Now, I don't have Jaws 3. I used to have. These are actually the second copies I've ever owned of these, because I don't have the original ones anymore. So I need to get Jaws 3 on the original. People say it's pre-served, but it does have PG on it. But I do, however, have the fourth one, Jaws the Revenge, which was a 15 anyway. This film gets slated to bits and it gets called the worst film of all time, which is absolute garbage, because it isn't. Jaws 3 is worse for one thing. Don't get me started on films that are worse than this, because it'll only upset you all. There's the side. The back. And this is the big box original rental tape. All four were on CIC. But instead of having like the original Jaws logo on the label, they just ended up printing like that. The sell-through didn't even have it like that. It was more like when it came out for a 10 of the label, where it says Jaws the Revenge, it was more like sort of a old type black dotted together, the letters like pixelated computer print on it. So that's Jaws, Jaws 2. I don't have Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge. That's all 4 minus 1 of the UK VHS releases. Never had anything on Betamax, so the next format that came after VHS was Laserdisc. Laserdisc caught on really well in the States, and in particular Japan. We got it in the early 80s, around about sort of, I think it was 83, 84. And it died a death after a couple of years. And then, for some reason, in the early 90s, it made a comeback. And I had some cracking films on Laserdisc. I had a Sony player as well. I had a lot of import ones. I had all the Friday the 13th parts 1 to 9. I had Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, 2 and 3. From Dusk Till Dawn, Unrated Scream. And I had all 4 Jaws films on American Laserdisc. And I also had the big box Jaws 4-disc edition. I've not got any of them. They've gone. Gutted. I wish I had them all back. But they were absolutely stunning to look at. This is like a sort of an early version of DVD. Now, an absolute diamond of a dude who I'm all sure you all reckon you are all familiar with his name now. It's Michael, who is the one who's got the amazing Evil Dead collection, and he's going to be our next live stream. I will leave a link down to Michael's channel. Bless him. He messaged me, and he's got the original Jaws on Laserdisc, but it's the UK one, which I've never had. And he sent me it. He also sent me a spare copy of the original soundtrack on vinyl. Michael, you're a star. Thank you very much. So the only one I've got now is the UK version of the first film, Jaws. Now, I love these because at the time this was the best picture quality you could get. But if you watch them now, they're not as good as DVD. But they were brilliant at the time. The only downfall with these is you had to get up halfway through the film and turn it over, just like a record. So if it was a 2-hour film, you get an hour each side. There's the back. And they're all in chapters, which was an absolute luxury after fast forward rewinding on video, VHS and Betamax. And also with these, if you paused it, you got a perfect pause, unlike video. Now these, can you imagine, if you've never seen one of these before, it's kind of like a CD, but the size of a vinyl album. Look at that bad boy, eh? So you watch the first half, you take the drawer out, flip it round, and put side 2 on. They have a big old meat. I miss these because as well, not only were they just a fantastic picture after seeing VHS, but you get the big 12-inch record size artwork as well. There's so much to miss, and they're just absolutely stunning. And unfortunately now, thank you very much to Michael Law. He's a star. I do have it again, but that's the only Laserdisc I now have. If I see them cheap enough, I'll probably get them again just to collect them, because I do miss seeing them, actually. So that is Jaws on Laserdisc. And then, after that, they were out a year or two over here, and it died a death again in the late 90s. And then came DVD. The first time Jaws came out on DVD, it was to celebrate the film's 25th anniversary. And I had a multi-region player. So I ordered the US DVD. And the same with the UK, except the artwork was actually a bit nicer on this one because it had like a silver foil effect. They changed the artwork. It was the same thing, like that. But they designed, I don't know, they kept the same swimmer. They changed the sky into like a sort of a blue sunny day, but they changed the shark to this. And it's bloody awful. So this is the first DVD edition in the US as well of Jaws with the foil shark, which is pretty snazzy. So this is now itself, it's coming up 23-year-old, it's 22-year-old now. Most films, as I've gone up to sort of DVD and 4K, I'll get rid of, unless it's something that I really love, like this Friday the 13th, Halloween, that type of thing. Picture disc, DVD, and a little chapter. I think there was a chapter insert thing. Good God, look at the back of that. I haven't had this out for years. I did lose this disc once, and I did lose this disc once, and I found it again in a CD case years later. So it's safely back in its proper home now. And what's inside? Yeah, it's just the chapters. God, I remember getting these and feeling so modern, and now I feel, God, these are ancient. I mean, look at this. What title was the card in? What type of stuff do you buy? Add a stamp and post it off. Mental. So like I said to you, I'm going to cover all the sequels as well. So like I said, because I got the American DVD, I did exactly the same with the sequels. These took a while to come out. Jaws came out in 2000. The sequels started to come out slowly a year later, 2001. Jaws 2. See what I mean about that number 2? It's awful. They didn't even use the proper artwork. These DVDs, I hated them because of the artwork. They look good, but my God. And this is when you started getting decent special features as well on DVDs. You got far more on these than you did on Laserdiscs. I think with Jaws 2 and the original... No, the original actually was... The original got more, but Jaws 2, I think you got a trailer and that was it. Again, same thing. Kind of a picture disc inner thing with the chapters. They haven't even done a fold out one with that. That's it. So yeah, it was you'd be fuming, wouldn't you, now if you got these? You didn't really get much, but for the time you were over the moon to get it. Jaws 3 came out, I think it was 2003. It took another 2 years. Jaws 3 and the 4th one came out together. Again, awful. They've used that part off the proper poster. The 3's wrong. And then used that as the shark. I don't care what anybody says. Jaws the Revenge is not the worst Jaws film. And it's not the worst film ever. The worst Jaws film is this. Only made better by 3D. I do actually like the picture disc of that one. And big deal. And the last US DVD was the fourth one, Jaws the Revenge. For everybody looking, thinking, is that the one where they're in sea life? No, that's 3. This is the one with Michael Caine, where the shark gets a grudge and follows them to the Bahamas. I tell you what, as much as it's a bad storyline, it is so entertaining, this film. There's oh, well, I can't remember call the actor's name now. Is it on there? Lance Guest. He's the one who plays one of the ambulance lads in Halloween 2. He's the one who fancies Jamie Lee Curtis in the hospital. Same thing. Again, people always say that the fourth one is the worst shark. The third one is Jaws the Revenge. And then, 5 years later, they brought out the 30th anniversary DVD. And both the American one and the English one at the time were stunning, so I got both. That's the American one. They still continued to use that god-awful shark instead of going back to the original. And that's the back. They did do an anniversary VHS. And somebody's been promising me it for about 6 years. I'm still waiting. And I'm not going to get it, am I, Pat? Side. Oh, that's weird. This one opens from that side. So you get this nice book. Look at that. It's got that lovely... And when I opened that, I was startled when I first seen it. Open that, and a dirty great big cake all looking at me. It's just a really nice book. This was sort of one of the best DVD editions of anything I'd seen at the time, in 2005. I'm not going to go through the entire book, takes ages, but there's actually some really, really nice photos in this. There's one of Steven Spielberg at the back there as well. And then you've got no inner thing, but you got 2 discs in this one, and you got more features than you did in the 2000 release, and the discs look better in these as well. So on disc 2 you got like the making of Jaws, a 2-hour documentary which was on the Laserdisc, Jaws archives, production photos, storyboards. You got deleted scenes and stuff as well. So you got that and the book in a back to front slip box. Now I thought that was fantastic, and for once the UK beat that. This was so limited, it got released and deleted on the day of release. And I was lucky enough to be in, do you remember those UK shops? I think they're called MVC. And I was in Durham at the time. Walked into the shop. This was on the shelf. Cheaper than anywhere else. I went, I'll have that. And then couldn't find it anywhere else. So this is the UK 30th anniversary. That is snazzy. And there's the back. Now the poster there, obviously you didn't get that in the box because it's huge. But what you did get was this. You got that as your proof of purchase, and then you had to send that off. Not your proof of purchase, sorry, odd form. You had to send that off with your proof of purchase, and they would send you that poster. Now, being a sad collector, I didn't want to part with that because it was all part of the set. So I photocopied it, sent it with a letter saying I did buy it. I sent my original receipt, and I said, can I still have the poster? The poster turned up in a tube, so I did get the poster. However, it's in a cupboard somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I do have it. Now, if you bought that poster from a shop, it was the same poster, except it looked like a sort of a cheapo knockoff version, because Jaws on the poster, you go with this, it was like almost pink. But I do have the poster, so I do have this complete set. And then you got commemorative sketchbook, which I think it's got Joel's little drawings in. Yeah, and like sort of drawings to screenshots. And this was nice. You got a film cell in this nice little frame. And then you got some art cards in black and white. And you got reproductions of the original lobby cards. And you got 3 discs. You got the film on DVD, a bonus DVD, and excerpts from the soundtrack on CD. Beat that, Universal USA. That blew me away. I'm lucky to have that. It doesn't go for as much, not that I would part with it anyway, but it doesn't go for as much as what you would expect it to go for. However, it's rare, and I'm really glad I've got it. And I'm also glad that I did get the poster, and I've still got the poster, but I managed to keep that as well. It is such a beautiful set, that for a DVD. So because I got that on English, I thought, well, I want Jaws 2, 3 and 4 on English. So instead of getting them all individual, I'll wait until I brought this box out, and this was dead cheap. I think I paid, at the time, £8 or £9 for it, box. You can get a set with a lenticular shark on the front. I would like that just for the collection, but I'm in no hurry to sort of buy anything or hunt it down. And these are just the same covers as the US ones, so I won't bother. Exactly the same. I think the discs might be slightly different. I'll have a quick look at one of them. But yeah, it's the same thing but not shiny, and you don't get nothing, no inserts or anything. So that was Jaws and Jaws 2 and Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge on DVD. I hate these boxes. If you're wondering what that tapping is, it's the stupid dog coming in and it's his tail banging on the door. And I'm about to stick my foot up his arse. Next up, after DVD, Blu-ray. I wasn't early to start with Blu-ray, to be honest. I was that impressed with DVD. Nah, you couldn't get any better. Till I seen it and I thought, right, whoa, gotta have one of these. So I got one, and then it took a while for Jaws to come out. And it took even longer for the sequels too. So, the original first release of Jaws on Blu-ray in the UK with slipcover. Looks like that. Thank God they started to use the original artwork again. Yeah, it's been messed with a bit, like this is a little bit paler, but I wasn't bothered because at least they used the artwork. And you got a slip, which did have spot glossing on. Same with the back, there was spot gloss in there, you can see. Again, the original artwork. And then you got, I don't know why I'm hiding it because I've got the film a million times, but there's a digital copy with that on the back. And yes, original artwork on the disc. I'm sure I've got somewhere, you know. Yes, I have. I was going to say European one, but I'm getting to that soon. I'd forgot about where it was, right? So, yeah. I'm just talking a load of poo, but there's the original Jaws. Then, I got the US version in the book, which was really nice. I would like the US version with the slip cover as well that looks like that, because the US version opens out and on the inside you get like the Jaws poster with a write-up about it for the 100-year anniversary. But I went for that one and I didn't realise it had that. I would have ordered it instead of that one probably, but yeah, I would like that one as well. If I see that cheap, I'll get that. There's another download code. But this is a nice edition. Hardback book. A nice back. There was a little booklety thing there for Shark Week. And that's what the Jaws digital copy was on as well. It's ridiculous advertising. The American Blu-ray didn't have the shark on, it was different. So I do actually like the European / UK disc better. That I think, is this the one? No, I'm thinking of the 4K with the dodgy booklet. Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, etc. Can't be bothered going through it all. And then the second disc is the DVD. So it's not like massive edition. It was mainly for the book and stuff. But the picture on this blew me away when I seen it. HMV brought out a series of Blu-rays which looked like old VHS tapes. So I had to get that as well, didn't I? Back to the old artwork again. But it doesn't look like the original Jaws VHS that I showed you earlier. But it does look like when they started doing them on what they called sell-through. So these were like when the VHS tapes come out with these to buy, when they look like this with the stripes, they were usually like £9.99 each. So you take that out with your wee VHS-like looking box, but that opens. And then you get the two discs, I think one's a Blu-ray, one's a DVD of the film, to look like the VHS reels. But also in the box, you get a sticker of Chrissy. It's like a sort of a collector card. Now that's numbered 13, so I don't know whether they're all the same or whether they had random ones. If anybody else bought this, can you let me know if they were different? I'm curious. I certainly wasn't buying it another 13 times to get a different card, put it that way. And then you're going to need a bigger board. Using the correct quote, you're going to need, not we're going to need. And then you also got this funky little poster, which actually looks pretty damn good. It's my favourite film artwork of all time as well, that. And it's not just because it's my favourite film, it's just I was always attracted to that image when I was little, before even seeing the film. It came out when I was 7. Nobody would take me to see it. But that caught me and I had to see it. Then, in the States to begin with, they released the sequels. So I just ordered the ones from America. They came out before the UK ones. Jaws 2. So they went back to the original Jaws 2 artwork. But they kept that stupid 2. Picture on this is absolutely amazing. Jaws 2 looks really good. Not as good as the original, obviously. The European ones, if I say UK, I mean European, because there wasn't a UK disc and a European, they were all the same. So you get like the 18 on, and you get the German certification, and I think on some you might get the French certification as well. But they were picture discs. You get the artwork on the discs. The US ones were just like dull like that, and I always thought that like the US would like go to town and do the better looking stuff, but in these they didn't. But I was just glad to have them on Blu-ray. And then Jaws 3 came out. They've used the same crap 3. Now when this came out, you look at that and you think nothing. And I was gutted and I thought, it doesn't say anything. And when I found it, there it was. No advertising really massively. And there were a lot of people who were waiting for this. Bonus feature, Jaws in 3D, like for the 3D tellies. I've been waiting for donkey's years for this. The 3D version of this, as bad a film it is, the 3D's mint. I loved it, and it made the film so much better. And that's it. You'd have thought that I made it like a Blu-ray 3D with the standard version as a bonus, but no, they didn't. The original 3D Universal logo that was on at the cinema is back on this, and you see the stars on that coming out the screen. It looks really, really good. And again, just plain old. And even the disc just says Blu-ray disc. It doesn't even say 3D Blu-ray, so you wouldn't know. But at least they did use the original artwork. And then Jaws the Revenge, they used the original US artwork, which is, it's basically the same as the UK, but the UK didn't have Ellen Brody on the boat on. It just had the Jack jumping, for God's sake. The shark jumping out of the water. But I think that one's so much better. This also has the original ending on, which was shown on TV, I think. There's 2 endings to this. I would have liked them to have used the alternate ending as the film and put the normal cinema one in as an extra bonus, because all they do is like tag the end of the original Jaws on the end for the death. It's stupid. And people are shouting now, yeah, it's a stupid film. Yeah, well, so there's plenty of others that I hate. But I was over the moon to have all of these on Blu-ray. And then when I seen the UK ones, all snazzy picture discs, I was like, I want them as well. But can't get them now. Deleted. Sold out. Then Severin grabbed hold of this cheeky sods who made this film. There was a film came out called Cruel Jaws. I don't know if it was Spanish or Italian. It's awful. It is so bad. It's so bad, they had the cheek to nick the name and call it Jaws 5. It isn't a Jaws 5. They nicked the artwork. They stole dialogue from all of the Jaws films. And if you look, they've actually not copied, they've stolen footage out of some of the Jaws films. I know the original and Jaws 2 is definitely there. And the one I can think of the most is in Jaws 2 when it's about to get the water skier. That underwater footage of the camera following the skier and the shark grabbing. They've stole that and put it in there. How they got away with it, I don't know. So Severin really, really quickly released this, very limited, and got rid of it quick. So before anything happened, It's only that slip cover that says it. It's the slip cover that's the rare bit. Look at the shark, for God's sake. And then the actual disc art is that. And it's Crumble Jaws. I love Severin. I absolutely love Severin. They release some fantastic stuff. And you get the picky disc. Oh, and then the thingy falls out. I don't think there's any reversible art. No, I don't suppose they would have dared put the Jaws 5 title artwork on. Fair play to them though for releasing it as it was. I was just glad to have it. This sold out with the cover really quick. So that's Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, Jaws the Revenge, and Cruel Jaws or Jaws 5. Cheeky buggers. And then on Blu-ray, I got Jaws on Steelbook. That's the J card, which is what's covering the shark up. And then, we're talking a few years later, they did the sequels on Steelbook. These are stunning as well. So I did finally get the picture discs. So there's Jaws 2. Jaws 3. And Jaws the Revenge. With Ellen Brody. And with the pink sky. And then also, the original Jaws came out in Europe. I think there was a version in Germany and a version in the Netherlands, I think. One was in English writing on the box, and one was in German. And I got one of them, and it was like the special collector's edition box set. Unfortunately, when it turned up, I got the one that's got the German writing. But the film's in English, exactly the same disc and everything. But you get the Memories of Martha's Vineyard book as well. And another Steelbook, the German Steelbook. This one's got Chrissy on the front, the swimmer. The other one, which is the one I wanted, but I couldn't get my hands on it, actually had the shark right there. And I was gutted. Not that I got this, I wanted both. But by the time, I just couldn't afford it. This weighs a ton because of the book. So the lid comes off. And this looks lovely with the lid off. We have a background. And there's the German Steelbook. And what I liked about this as well, this is the one I was going to say earlier on. I thought I had the one with the slip cover from another country, but I don't, but it's this one. When you open it, that's exactly the same, except it says Jaws on the UK one. But instead of getting a download code, you got the disc with it on for the digital. They don't do that anymore. So, yeah. And at least as well with the German copy, the J card lined up with the shark. On the English one it didn't, it was just like a plain, and then that lovely background comes off and you get that dirty, great big beautiful Memories from Martha's Vineyard. Wow. I'm sure, I could be wrong, but is in this book, doesn't it show you the photograph of the actual shark that Roger Castell painted for the artwork? Because the actual shark that he painted wasn't a great white. It was, I think it might have been a mako or something, or a nurse shark. I can't remember. Oh, that's a good photo. The bit that was filmed for The Death of the Boy on the Raft, Alex Kintner, was originally going to show you the shark actually kill him. And they did film it, but he said it was too gruesome. You can see it in a deleted scene, but you don't very often see photos that clear. There's a lot of stuff in here that was never been released photograph-wise. It's an absolutely stunning book. There's loads in it. I've looked through it before, but I've never actually read it. I would love to sit and read it one day. Get the time to read it. It's gorgeous. It's such a good book. I think at the time you could buy this separately. I don't know if it is still available, but this book was £35 on its own when it came out. And then you also get some bigger art cards. So that, I do believe, is the entire Blu-ray collection of Jaws. And Jaws 2, and Jaws 3, and Jaws 4, and cheeky buggers Jaws 5 that doesn't exist. Next up, 4K. After seeing just how good the picture quality was on the remastered Blu-ray, people were like just itching for a 4K to come out. There's an absolutely brilliant. It's only smart. It's only short as well. It's on the Blu-ray, and I'm pretty sure it's on the 4K. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on YouTube as well. And there's a little, tiny little 10-minute, 15-minute little featurette thing showing the restoration of it, and it shows you the before and after, and like showed you them actually doing it. Wow, they put the work in. They restored it frame by frame. What a lot of work they put into this. And then Universal finally announced, yeah, it's coming out on 4K. They kept the original shark. They swapped the artwork around. Instead of the swimmer on the top, they took her off altogether and kind of had the shark coming out the water, which was strange. So there's your standard 4K of Jaws with a slip. I thought this was just a bog standard, but apparently this is quite hard to get hold of now, the slip. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this on any format, but you can never have too many copies of Jaws, I'm afraid. And that's what it looks like without the slip on. Same front, and you get the Blu-ray in this as well. It's the same Blu-ray as what you would have bought separately. I think it's the same extra features. You get like the making of Jaws, and oh no, you get the shark is still working as well, but you got that on the Blu-ray. Stupid. There you go. So it's the same Blu-ray, same blue. I mean, I said that deliberate. And then you get the white with the blue shark 4K. This will never get any better. It can't, because whether you watch the Blu-ray or the 4K, this film now looks like it was filmed yesterday. It cannot get any better. The only way that this could possibly, I'm not even going to say it's better, but it equaled it in 3D. You can't get 3D on 4K, but I would love them to do just a very limited run of a 3D Blu-ray, because when I saw that at the cinema, wow, it looked fantastic. You'd think it had been filmed in 3D. Wasn't so much stuff jumping out the screen, it was just the depth. It looked amazing. I don't have the US 4K. I just stuck with the UK one because I think they're all the same, pretty much the same image. And then I also got the HMV Cine edition with a lenticular sleeve. It's the same 4K inside. You get this booklet. This is the booklet where it's Richard Dreyfuss, for God's sake. A lot of people sort of like kicked off to get these replaced. I just kept it. They did the same. I think, I'm pretty sure Richard Dreyfuss's thing says Roy Scheider. Yeah, it does. Never mind, doesn't bother me. I never get tired of seeing that picture, that image. Chrissy's on the back there. And there's like little nice bits like that, like newspaper cuttings and the Jaws ride and stuff like that. So it's a nice little booklet to have. And that's just exactly the same as the standard one with the slip. And I also got, no, I haven't finished. I got the Jaws Zavvi exclusive, which looks the same. It's got the lenticular again, but instead of it being the same cover on the inside, this one, you get the same book, but this one's the steel book. This is nice. That looks lovely, that. I like the bubbles there as well. And then Chrissy on the back. I had a bit of chew when I got this, and the first one was all bashed in on one corner. So I had to send it back, get another one ordered, and it was out of stock. It took ages, but they got one. This is why I don't like Zavvi. And you get art cards in that one. And the 2 discs, 4K there, and the Blu-ray. And then HMV got another exclusive 4K. They brought out a series of what they called Japanese art Blu-rays and 4Ks. Some were only Blu-ray, some were 4K. I got this. This is the 4K and the Blu-ray. I didn't realise when I ordered it, I thought it was just Blu-rays. I was over the moon. But nice Japanese artwork with the writing there. And this was #1 of the series. I didn't get them all, but I've got a few. So that's all the VHSs I've got, all the DVDs I've got, all the Blu-rays, and all the 4Ks of all the Jaws films. Next up, the soundtracks on vinyl. So in 1976, which is the year after Jaws was released, the theme music entered the charts. What I didn't know is the theme music that entered the charts wasn't the John Williams one. I was only little. It was a disco version by a film composer who's done loads of films. He did like quite a few of the Dirty Harry films, and he's done stuff like that. He did Starsky and Hutch, Lalo Schifrin. He did a disco version of Jaws. So, I mean, I had the 7-inch single of this for years. I had no idea a 12-inch existed till years later. And it's the full version. It's a lot longer than the 7-inch. This is so corny, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, it's no John Williams, but it's just good to have. A funky Jaws theme. Look at that. And then on the B-sides, a track called Quiet Village. This and Quiet Village, actually, both of them, came off his album, which was called Black Widow, and I never, ever got to hear it as a kid. And then I seen it cheap, and I bought it. And you know what? It's actually really, really good. It's kind of, if you've heard this, you'll like it, because it's funky. Or if you're a bit of a disco fan type of thing, but it's not singing, it's all music. I've got it somewhere. But yeah, but I put it in the wrong way there, because it's got the B-side there. And then it says Jaws there on that side of the sleeve, but I put the Jaws side there. So that's Lalo Schifrin's version of Jaws. You need to listen to that if you haven't heard it. You will find it amusing, no doubt. And then again, years later, I didn't even know that I found out that the actual John Williams theme was released as a single, and I didn't know. And then I found out even later than that, my God, it was limited in the UK with the picture sleeve. Oh, look at that. Same on both sides. Now you can take Jaws away with you. Home with you, even. 7-inch black vinyl on the original black MCA label. And I do actually have two of these. I got that one again. That was the second one I got, because although the top's a bit tatty, this was the only one I'd ever seen. And it had pen on it. I hate that. You'd think there'd be something you get, that they'll get ink off paper. This has got like hairline scratches on quite a lot, but even so, it's you don't see this every day. And whoever it was, they wrote the name on the bloody label as well. So I've got that one with no, it's a bit tatty on the top, of the record's immaculate, so yeah, glad to have that. Am I glad to have two? I don't know, but there you go. So that's the Jaws theme by John Williams, the original. And then I found this bad boy. This is the German pressing. Same artwork. Same label, because in Germany, like, they had a lot like sort of jukebox size things on their turntables, so it's got the bigger centre hole for the plastic adapter to go in. This is a stunning pressing. However, not as stunning as this next one. This is the last 7-inch single I've got. And this is the Japanese 7-inch, which is beautiful. Yeah. Some people don't know this, but there is actually a censored and an uncensored version of the artwork. If you see Chrissy there, that's the one you normally see, look, where they've like, there's nothing there, but on the uncensored one, you can see the nips. You can see it better on the 12-inch version, because that's only a short record. Short record? Short? Small record. And there's an MCA sleeve in the back, because Japanese pressings, you think it's a picture sleeve, and it's not. It's just like a pull-out little sheet. And again, like the German pressing, it's got one of those large jukebox centres. But when I seen this, I was like, oh, I didn't actually pay that much for that. I can't remember how bad this year's, but I got it relatively cheap for what it is. So that was all like basically the singles. And then I've got the original UK first pressing, absolutely immaculate condition. There's the uncensored artwork. You can see it better on the 12-inch. For 2 dots, they blacked it out. Why, I don't know. And then the back. And then You can even see the spine really well. Normally, like with these, because they're that old, they'll get all like crushed to death and ruined. It's even on the top in this one. They've put it in a new white sleeve for some reason. However, the original one's left in. I think I'm going to put this in one of those poly-lined ones, actually. I thought it was already in one, but that is absolutely immaculate. Look at that. Bit of dust, but there's no scratches. Now, I do have this on CD. And then when Jaws came out on DVD, the 25th anniversary, I think that's when it was, they also did a 25th anniversary soundtrack. This, the original one, was re-recorded in a studio, and if you listen to this and listen to the film, you can tell a mile off. It is re-recorded, it's not the same version at all. The anniversary thing that came out was all the cues taken from the actual soundtrack of the film reels, the actual original film music reels that they've got. And it's so much better. It's longer, there's more in it. And there was also unused music that they put on as well, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And Decca released that, so I got that. And then years later, there's a company whose name slips my mind right now. They brought out Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge, all double discs with all unused cues, the original soundtrack and the re-released ones with all the actual proper film music on from the reels. I've got them, I just don't know where I've put them, so I'm just going to stick to the vinyl. But I just thought I'd mention the fact that I do have them, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Then this is a 2000 and I think it's about 2014-ish, 15 repress. And they still use the uncensored artwork. Yet when it gets film released, it's the, I don't get it, the censoring it still. This looked weird when I spinned it, because all my life it's been on MCA. When this re-release came out, how this happened, I don't know. But it's on Geffen, which is also the label that Cher is on. And that band I ate, Buns and Toasties, they're on it. But to have the Jaws soundtrack, I thought was so weird on that label. Very strange. So yeah, that was the repress. What I would like them to do with that is when it's like Record Store Day or the next anniversary, I would love them to do a picture disc with that art on one side. And then, what year was it? In 2017, I thought it was. Mondo released the entire score, the one that I was talking about, that's on the actual version here on the film, on vinyl. And they released two variants of it. One was black vinyl and one was ocean blue. So I got both. Then they repressed it a few years later. And this one was called Blood in the Water. So it's like this gorgeous blue with like a pool of blood in the middle. So I got that as well. I've got all three. So I shall show you those now. Black vinyl first. Totally new, duly commissioned artwork, which is really good. However, I do like the poster artwork far better. You can't beat that shark's face. But that's the scene where the first sailing out to the water, and the camera actually pans through the shark's jaw that's hung up in the window, which I thought was really good. And then on the back, they re-release this one, all colours, they're all double records, the double LPs. Love the artwork in this gatefold though. It is Hard to see where I'm sat trying to find out the mouth. I love that. I think it's really good. I'll show you the labels and I'll just show you one record of each because they're all the same colour. But on record 1, side A, you got a white label with Jaws wrote in red. Same with side B. And then on side C and D on record 2, you got a red label with Jaws in white. And that was just to show you sort of like the difference, so you knew which type record was which, in case you couldn't read. Don't know why it's so difficult to get back in. Anyway, this is the black vinyl, and it's played at 45 RPM, same as singles. So it's pressed at 45 because you get a better sound. Basically kind of like a 12-inch single, so it's like a bigger groove. So it's pressed higher quality and it's louder. Look at that. And this sounds absolutely gorgeous. The CD, I actually put it on my iPod so I can listen to it in the car, and I do listen to it in the car. Yeah, I do. It's my favourite soundtrack of all time as well. Probably wouldn't surprise you. And the next one is the Ocean Blue. Exactly the same artwork, same labels what I showed, same inner. Oh, I did forget, in every one of them, which is also the same, you do get like this little booklet. Well, I'm saying little, it's quite large, but it's only thin. So there's that on one side. The theme is still working, which is a little cheeky play on words, like the shark is still working documentary. And it just pulls out thus and thus. So you get that in all 3 variants of the Mondo edition. It is literally just the colour that's different. So this was the, well, this is the Ocean Blue. Everybody, myself included, was expecting this to be a bit darker, but even so, it's still really nice. It's more like a sort of a sea foam type of colour. Hold it up, it looks darker actually when you hold it up. So that's the Ocean Blue. And the final Mondo one to date is by far the nicest one to look at. Even the colour vinyl ones, they all sound absolutely beautiful. Clear as a bell. So this one is the Blood in the Water variant. It's so nice, that one. That's my favourite one. It's unreal. I just look at it, I think, wow. I think it's stunning. That's more of an Ocean Blue to me, but there you go. So that's all the 3 colour variants from Mondo. Bonus item for you, just in case you haven't seen this. There's my tattoo. You can't see very well because I haven't shaved my arm. But the detail in this is absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at Chrissy, the detail. He's even done the face. I did ask him to do the uncensored version, but he didn't do the nips, which I was gutted about. But I love that tattoo. Absolutely love it. So there's a little bonus item for you. So that's your lot. Congratulations, you've made it. If you're as big a Jaws fan as I am, you've probably enjoyed this. If not, you've just watched it for the crack. Well done. And even now, there's so much more stuff I've got that I haven't shown you yet. But I needed to get the films and the soundtracks out there because I've been dying to do this for a long time. And I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed doing it. But I've got posters and I've got pop figures. t-shirts and stuff, other things as well. So I'll probably show bits of them bit by bit now instead of doing it all one. I think this is long enough. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it, because I've had a blast doing this. And if you're still watching, congratulations, you've done well. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and staying with it. Do appreciate it. I honestly, I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had a ball. But yeah, thank you. I really do mean that. Thank you very much. And I'll probably be doing another video soon. I don't know what yet. This was the main one. After the Maiden albums, this is the main one I wanted to do. I've got a couple of ideas. It's just debating which one I want to do next, but it won't be too long. So yeah, I'm rambling, but I bet you're still watching. If you're as sad as I am and you're like this fella here, yeah, link down to Michael's channel below. I don't know what to say because I've rambled that much now. Look, what a gobshite. Honestly, thank you very much. I love you all. I think you're fantastic. If you've subscribed, bless you. Thank you. If you watch all my videos all the time, I can't tell how much I appreciate. What can I say? You're all stars. I couldn't do this if you weren't watching. I would have jacked in by now, which I did expect it to. You've kept me going. Thank you very much. I'll see you very soon. Thank you, all 2 of you. Enjoy. Look after yourselves. And if I don't see you beforehand, Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the next one. You take care. Smile, you son of a...